as kind of a lunatic and definitely a bigot. The Times didn't care much, while some on the left said the only racists were the ones who dared criticize her as an oppressed person who went to Harvard. Now, more of Jeong's tweets have been exposed. She tweeted frequently about killing all men. She said, F the police routinely. She once tweeted, quote, if we're talking big sweeping bans on crap that kills people, why don't we ever talk about banning the police? As is often the case, the ones crying most loudly about bigotry are the most enthusiastic bigots. You may have noticed that, but they defend themselves by saying they can't be bigots. It's impossible. Ethan Bearman is a California radio show host, and he joins us tonight. Ethan, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Tucker.
So, I read a lot of this woman's tweets. What no one is saying is she's kind of dumb, actually, and I wonder how she got into Harvard. I mean, she's actually not a good writer, not an interesting thinker. She's totally mediocre, but whatever, a lot of mediocre people. But I think it's an interesting story for the following reason. She's making all these sweeping claims about an entire racial group, all of them negative, a lot of them angry, some suggesting violence. People say, oh, she's a racist, and the response from the left has been, you can't be racist to white people, period. That's apparently a widely held belief on the left. Do you believe that? It's impossible to be racist to white people?
I don't think it's impossible to be racist to white people, but you miss the context of what happened here, and I do think that there's a bit of hypocrisy from the right on this one, with the insulter-in-chief being the head of the Republican Party right now. But in this case, you miss the context of the trolls attacking her first. Now, clearly she should not have reacted the way she did. However, it is a normal human reaction with both the somatic and the autonomic nervous systems to respond when under threat. So she was being attacked and responded.
No, I think it's a very fair point, but that's not what she did. I mean, people who are attacked respond. I get it. That's why I don't go on Twitter. I'm afraid I might do that, you know, and reveal myself to be unpleasant. No, I'm serious. I don't. But she wasn't responding to trolls. Actually, in every case, and when I read them, there weren't individuals attacking her. And by the way, her response wasn't aimed at individuals. It was aimed at an entire, in fact, the predominant racial group in the United States. So if, in other words, if I say something to you that you don't like, do you respond by saying something racist? Probably not. You respond by attacking me. But that's not what she did. So why are we defending that exactly?
So she was setting an example. No, look, I mean, clearly Asian Americans historically have been subjugated and abused in this country. Do I need to bring up the internment camps?
No, they haven't.
She's from, our family's from, burn
that's silly.
Villages. But the point is if people are attacking her,
we didn't burn their villages. And hold on, not all, stop. First of all, not all Asians are the same. Her family's from South Korea.
No, clearly not.
She went to Berkeley and then Harvard Law School. There has been no organized discrimination against Koreans in this country. Like, what are you talking about? The average Korean immigrant has a higher income than the average native-born white American. So, like, there's no history of racism against Koreans here. That's just not true. Certainly not by white people anyway. I mean, honestly.
No. Neither one of us have experienced what she's experienced. I don't know exactly what she's experienced, but based on
I didn't get into Harvard Law School as a dumb person. She got in as a dumb person, which tells you, I mean, that's impressive. I get it. I don't know how that happened.
You don't get into Harvard Law as a dumb person. You don't. Harvard Law.
No, she's dumb. I read it. No, I'm not being mean. Look, I'm not attacking her. I spent all day reading her tweets, and she's not bright. She can barely write. And all these other dumb people are like, oh, she's, irreplaceable. She's indispensable. She's a genius. Really? If you think she's a genius, whatever. But the point is, how can she, as a Harvard Law graduate with a New York Times job, coming from South Korea, how can she be an oppressed person? I'm totally confused.
Well, I don't know her personal experience, but what I do know is if you do look at other tweets that were sent to her, Tucker, there were tweets that were very crude and they were offensive. And again, so she was experiencing that, and sometimes, and I try to avoid doing this myself, I don't, again, condone lashing out, but of course, when you're a minority person and you're feeling attacked for being the minority person that you are, you sometimes lash out and say things back to the majority group.
I get
it. She was doing it as a form of...
So she's attacking the race of my children. Okay, my kids are white, I'll admit it. And so does that mean that I can go attack all Asians in response, as she did?
No, white people have a long history of being in charge in this country. White people are still in charge in this country. So it's really hard to say that you're an oppressed minority, Tucker.
So only she gets to be the racist. But she's the rich Harvard Law grad who works at the New York Times, but she's oppressed.
In her language back, but absolutely... No way, no way, no way, no way,
Okay.
Tucker. White people are not the oppressed group. That's white fragility.
Oh, I'm
which
not
is
saying
actually
they are.
well
I'm just saying,
documented.
look, I'm not oppressed in the slightest, never have been. I'm just saying, are these universal principles or not? And apparently they're not.